They are kind of ferocious because they're really hungry. They eat a lot. They've got 8 tentacles and 2 big feeding tentacles. They'll eat anything of its right size. They're not too picky. They're big, they're strong. You're underwater, you're not in your element, so you have a reason to be pretty wary.
To hear biologist David Ham describe the Humboldt squid conjures images of man-eating monsters and deep-sea leviathans of old. But the Humboldt, known to Spanish-speaking fishermen as Diablo Rojo, the Red Devil, poses less of a threat to hapless sailors than to fisheries along the western coast of the United States and Canada.
Coincident with measurable average changes in water temperature over the last 30-40 years, they've been moving further north and more consistently. Now every summer they move further north. Since 2003, Washington and even Southeast Alaska, they show up now quite regularly.
On a dreary day in October, Ham gives the public a very close-up and squishy lesson in Humboldt physiology.
Using their parrot-like beak, that's also made of chitin, they kind of just go through and almost like corn on the cob, they just like tear through stuff really fast. So there's a fair bit of hype every time these guys show up, you know, whether they're offshore and eating all our fish or washing up on the beach by the thousands. People kind of get psyched, but we also want to believe in monsters too. And you know, as great as that is, these are real creatures that might have real impacts on the ecosystem. And so I think it's kind of nice for people to have somebody who can say, like, look, here's what's really going on. At least this is how much we know, and here's what the real critter looks like. You know, you can touch it, you can poke it. Here's the beak. You know, just kind of clear up a little bit of the mystery, but hopefully retain some of the interest. So it's very odd looking to see.
While not completely understood, the Humboldt's extended range appears to be a function of its biology.
Squid in general are kind of a fast turnover, weedy species. They grow fast, they reproduce quickly, and they die young. The James Dean of invertebrates. These guys are sort of an exceptional case of this in that they grow really, really large in the space of less than 2 years. They can get up to 6-7 feet long, 100 pounds or more at their maximum. And they do this by eating voraciously and having incredibly high rates of assimilation, that what they're eating they can turn straight into body mass really, really efficiently, much more efficiently than other creatures. Females can have over 300 million eggs, so they can just reproduce really, really quickly and respond then perhaps to things like climate change, ecosystem change, other prey and predators, much more rapidly than a sort of slower growing, slower metabolism, longer lived species.
In addition, the Humboldt can survive in low oxygen environments, despite a very active lifestyle.
What's unique about these guys is that they spend a lot of time in the oxygen minimum layer, which is a sort of center of the water column, far away from the photosynthetic zone, where decomposition has led to a real minimum oxygen water conditions. And so you'd think of squid as being the least adapted creatures to be hanging all their time there. But there's some sense that they might have adaptations that it's kind of like hibernation, they can suppress their metabolism, slow down, and yet they still seem capable of being really active. So there's quite the mystery there of how they manage to do this.
Ham says that how far and how much of an incursion the Humboldt makes into North American fisheries remains a big question mark.
Right now, especially for North America, for the United States and Canada, we're still at the stage of just really kind of studying them, and we don't have any fishery for jumbo squid yet, except for kind of recreationally. So that might be a matter of time. Kids at the day school get like, oh, supplemental lunch, man, squid burger. So, who knows where we'll end up with this.